Quiet quitting is picking up a lot of buzz in the workforce as employees are feeling all burned out, maybe overworked.
Well, joining us this morning is Callie Williams-Yost, the CEO and founder of Flex Plus Strategy Group that helps companies adopt flexible work arrangements. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here.
Good morning, Sally and Melissa. It's a pleasure.
Well, let's first just start with what is quiet quitting? Is this new, or does it just have a fancy new phrase that we're hearing?
Well, quiet quitting is the term people are using to describe those who are feeling burned out, overworked, are trying to establish better boundaries and reassert that sense of agency that allows them to say no. And they're really just doing no more than is expected of them in their job. And while this is a buzzy new term, the concept of not being as engaged as you would hope to be in your job is actually not new. This was a problem before COVID, but obviously the stress and in many cases the overwork in a very difficult situation during COVID has indeed exacerbated it. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot more discussion about it with this new term, quiet quitting.
Well, and it's certainly understandable. People have been through a whole lot. I just wonder how long employers are going to put up with this. They're always, you would think, expecting people to work and achieve a little bit higher. What are some signs that an employee might be quietly quitting?
Well, the most obvious sign is a change in behavior. So you've had somebody on your team who was always the one who was raising their hand to take the extra assignment, or when you sent a message or an email, they would respond consistently and they were going above and beyond. And then all of a sudden you've kind of noticed the hands not being raised quite so much, and maybe those responses aren't quite so consistent. And that's when you can begin to see, I think there's some lack of engagement here that's concerning, and we need to discuss it and try to come up with a solution.
Well, how do you think employers should get ahead of this so that they can keep, their best workers?
I think it starts right now as simply as first acknowledging that this has been a tough 2+ years for people, thanking them for, in many cases, going above and beyond in a very difficult time. And I don't think that's happening in every situation. I think people just want to be acknowledged and thanked. And I do think this is an opportunity for employers to step back and partner with your people. Ask them to help you come to some understanding about how to prioritize the work better and maybe establish more effective boundaries between work and the other parts of life, and have some shared norms around communication and responsiveness, and make them part of the solution. That actually re-engages people right away, and they feel appreciated when they're asked, hey, how can we do this better and smarter? So again, I like to see this as an opportunity to even do things better than we were doing things before, perhaps.
If someone is suffering in silence this way, and they may say, oh my goodness, I am going through this right now, do you think it's a good idea for them to maybe start looking for something new, for a new job that might revive them? Or is it that thing of just finding your comfortable place at work, maybe working with your employer to see if you can work through it?
My bias is always to try to find the solution where you are before you decide to leave. But I will say, if there's a difference, quiet quitting, there's a difference between being less engaged at work and being disengaged at work. If you're just finding yourself less engaged, that's when I do think you should try to work with your employer and find a solution. But if you are truly disengaged, that's when you should think about finding another job, because that's not sustainable for you or for your employer.
Callie Williams-Yost from Flex Strategy Group, thank you so much. Great talking to you.
Thank you.